Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Second section on Tuesday. So let's start with those basic warm-ups. We're doing fan through the back to turn body chop with fists today. So let's start turning our neck, looking over the shoulder, side to side. Never pushing past 70%. Your body will eventually slowly start to open. One more time, and then we'll come back to center. And we're gonna link it all together right away. So chin to chest, ear to shoulder, dropping the head back and around. And as we're doing this, we wanna be in a neutral position, maybe a shoulder width stance or a little bit wider. Knees aren't locked. Gentle, natural, even breathing. We're gonna go the other way. So letting your shoulders and elbows hang down and just rotating our head. One more circle. And then when you get the chin to the chest, we'll just slowly lift back up into that neutral position. So we're working a lot with the shoulders and elbows today. So let's start with, we're gonna focus on deflecting down, rotate. So pushing down, rotate. Good, so really using our elbows here. And then we'll go the other way, so out. And then this is kind of like a ward off shape, and rotate. Similar to wave hands, but we're doing both arms in the same directions. Okay, let's drop them back and come to those shoulders because we're gonna have our shoulders up. So really draw them up and around. Squeezing the shoulder blades together as you come to the back, and then we'll go the other direction. So squeeze up and forward. You can always do larger movements with your arms if you'd like. And then I always like to go one back since we spend a lot of time staring forward, okay? So let's move into our hips here, okay? It's always good to get these warmed up. So take a comfortable stance, hands on the hips if you'd like, and just circling. So you can move in a faster, smaller circle or a little bit slower and wider, kind of really pushing out to the sides. And let your breathing flow naturally here, all the way down to the lower dantian, other direction. We want to kind of regulate our breathing now so that when we get moving in the form, we won't lose that. Okay, good. Back to center. And let's work our hips a little bit. So it's your choice. You can kind of sit here and rotate open and have your foot on the ground and kind of roll your ankle. Or if you'd like, you can kind of lift open if your balance allows. It's whatever feels good. So again, keeping it on the ground and kind of opening the hip or lifting up. And then we'll want to do just a couple the other direction. So if you are up like this or on the ground, turning inward. Okay, let's find our balance on that leg we were rotating. And then again, you can just keep the ankle and kind of open the thigh bone or lift up and open. Whatever feels good. Always go with your body. Every day is different. Something Tai Chi teaches us, Tai Chi and yoga, just accepting where we are. Okay, good. Let's just shake it out a little bit. So if you want to just shake, just get the energy flowing, or you can draw the shoulders up and kind of throw them down. And you'll hear my voice shake as I do this because I'm really releasing the shoulders and lats up here. I love this feeling, but some of us just prefer to shake. So we'll ease off and we'll come back. Guess what? We did it, 5 minutes. Do we feel warmed up enough? Okay, good. All right, so let's practice running through the whole section from cross hands all the way through to fan through the back that we worked on last week, and then we'll see if there's any questions, okay? All right, so nice starting position. Look down at your feet, make sure. When we start, we're straight. Right arm on the outside, cross hands. Shifting our weight, turning, embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. Circling the arms like brush knee. Open and strike. Roll back, connect, and turn. Circle in, touch the forearms so you can press out. Open up the arms, and we're going to come back, sit up the palms, and push out. Fist under elbow, shifting back, flatten the arms, turn. Try to get your foot to straight, shift back, relax the left foot, push out. Step, ward off, rotate, step with the right foot, circle down, make a fist, empty stance on the heel. Repulse monkey, circle, step, pushing off the front heel. Circle, rotate your right palm facing up, shoulder down, one arm forward, one back. Number 3, hands in front of the shoulder when you step, and then show striking. Diagonal flying, circle the arms, step, and show splitting energy as we rotate our left heel. Raise hands and step forward. Step back, open up your arms, change to the heel, and close. White crane, circle down, left arm comes over top, close step, and then spread your wings, empty stance on the toes. Brush knee, circle the arms, step, open up, and strike. Needle at sea bottom, shifting forward, fingertips point down, show pulling back, change to an empty stance on the toe, and sink down. Lifting up, left hand touches right wrist, step for a bow stance, one arm forward, one back. Okay. How did we do? How do we feel?
I have a quick question, Cheryl, about the pauses between the movements. If we're supposed to be continually flowing, how long can we make that pause? You know what I mean?
So it looks like our body pauses, but the energy never stops. Does that make sense? It's so hard to understand, I know. So when you're doing a movement, it might look like you're stopping here, but it's like, so when we express energy and we do these movements quickly, we're coming and we're showing power, and it's like this spring where you explode and you come back, right? You can see my palm come towards you and back. So when we're doing this in the form, it's a little pause and come back a little bit, but I wouldn't necessarily focus on that right now. I would focus on having smooth transitions. This is what it's all about, okay? So you see that with many of us. I can't even tell you when you see it in my form, to be completely honest, but what we want to focus on is smooth transitions. So we don't want to do a movement and say, we've done brush knee, we stop, and then we transition to needle at sea bottom. We want that to be, we've brushed knee and we immediately go to needle at sea bottom, okay? Okay, good. Any questions on, say, fan through the back or needle at sea bottom? Okay, guys, let's see it. So let's start at brush knee. So left foot forward, right arm striking, brush knee. Good. So needle at sea bottom, shift your weight forward, step in, pull back, change to the ball of the foot, sink down. Fan through the back, lifting up, touching the wrist, bow stance, and one arm forward, one back. That looks pretty good. How did you feel without having me to look at on the screen? Okay, good. Any questions now that I made you do it by yourself? All right, today's turn body and chop with fist, okay? So I'm gonna do it one time and then we'll kind of break it down here, okay? So we're in fan through the back and I'm going the opposite direction that we normally go so that you can see the transition with the arms. So we're in fan through the back. We're gonna shift our weight back. One arm comes to protect our head, the other one's pushing down and deflecting. We make a fist. We're gonna chop out, stepping into a bow stance, and then save our weight for the strike, okay? So one more time, it's fan through the back to turn body chop with fist. We shift, we turn, foot's like single whip, we make a fist, we chop, and then strike, okay? So the footwork is gonna feel similar to single whip, okay? So everyone start in a left bow stance, okay? So our left leg is forward. We're gonna shift our weight back and we're gonna turn our right foot to the corner direction, 135 degrees. So take a look down and see if you made it. Then we're gonna shift our weight back and relax our right foot. We draw in, we step out, touch with the heel edge, and we roll onto the whole heel. After that, we then move our weight forward. Okay, let's do it again. So left foot forward.
And we're moving into a bow stance when we're going to do the punch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're in a nice bow stance. Check and make sure you're in a good stance. Can you pick up your foot easily if you shift back? Okay, good. All right, so shift your weight back. Turn your left foot 135 degrees. Shift your weight back and relax your right foot. You're gonna draw in, step wide enough, touch with the heel. This is our chop. Then we move into our normal bow stance. Okay? Any questions on the footwork? The footwork it's not totally new, but it's just a little bit different. Okay, let's do it one more time. I see everyone messing around with it. That's good. So left foot forward. You're in a nice bow stance, so you can always move back and pick up. Shift your weight back. Turn your body so your left foot can make it all the way to the corner. Shift your weight back, relax your right foot so they're both going the same direction for a moment. Draw in, step wide enough, heel touches, and then normal bow stance forward. Now, take your left foot, turn it to straight, drag your right foot back. Do we have shoulder width? How did we do? Yes. This is a hard one. It takes a lot of practice to get to that wide enough stance, okay? So let's do it one more time. And try to step a little bit wider this time if you didn't make it to shoulder width, okay? So normal bow stance. Left leg's forward. Shift back. Turn from your waist, allowing your leg to turn and your foot. Shift back, relax your right foot. Pick up and think about stepping wider if it wasn't quite shoulder width, and then move your weight forward. Let's check it again. Turn your left foot to straight, draw your right one back. Was it better? Okay. All right, any questions on the footwork? No? Okay. All right, so the arm movements. I'm gonna talk about them together, but we're also gonna break it down, okay? So we're in fan through the back. And again, I'm facing the opposite direction so you can see what happens. Because our left arm is going to circle up and protect our head while our right arm pushes down. And it's going to circle in, okay? So our left arm, it's just going to come up, and it's going to feel similar to white crane or fair lady works at shuttles if you've completed the third section. Okay, so we go from striking, and then we're turning and protecting our head. Good. That one's simple enough, right? So the right arm, someone's punching you from behind, and you don't quite know where it's coming from. So you're gonna, as you turn, you're gonna push down and then guide it out to the side. So you're actually connecting to somebody here, and imagine redirecting their punch. Yes, so it's a circle.
What I've been doing is making a circle, but I think I'm kind of opening up my arm, my forearm a little bit. Do you kind of keep the same position as you come down and then move it in?
Yeah.
Shape,
yeah, you don't want to have a big circle here. It's a little bit of a smaller circle. So we're not making a big circle where we're going to pull our shoulder back. We're going to keep our shoulder down, and we're going to pull a little bit, just a little. So maybe if I go this way, okay? So it moves a little bit, and then it circles and pushes down. So let's see it. Looks good, Marion. A little bit closer to the body. Yep, so we don't want to come too far out. So with this arm here, when we do this movement, we don't want to open like this and then circle down. We don't want to make a giant circle like this, okay? We want to keep this closer to our body. So it's a smaller circle. So again, maybe if I go this way, so I'm in, fan through the back, I shift, and I'm going to push down. Okay, so fan through the back, turn body. Good, let's see it. Yeah. So you're imagining you're gonna push down, so you're connecting. So just do this, like imagine if someone was coming to you, okay, and your arm was up, you would just push down, right? You would just push down. You would connect, and then you would kind of turn your waist, and you would redirect. This is what we're doing. It's pushing down. But it's a little circle because we're coming from here and we're turning. So our body turning brings our arm out a little bit, and then we have to bring it back in. Am I frozen? So it's pushing down. Okay, this is a push down. It's a push and deflect. So it's combined together. But it's the turning, because we're open here and we're turning and we're circling. So if I just did what I was doing here and I'm just showing you to push down, my arm would end up here in front of me. And that punch would end up hitting me. So we have to redirect it, right? A little bit of turning and redirection so that it's going to go to this side. Okay? So both arms together, if you imagine a Tai Chi ball, like there's a circle here, like a big circle. One arm's following the upper edge and the other arm's following the lower edge of that circle. So we're in our fan through the back, and we're gonna make our circle. Good, let's see it a couple of times. Just play around with it. This is a hard movement to get this transition specifically. Yes. And remember, we want to keep that space. So we don't want to get too close here. We still want to keep that rounded feeling. because this is protecting our head from someone punching here, and this one's deflecting down. So we always want to have that space. We don't want to get too close ever. But we don't want to have a huge giant circle, right? So it's about the yin and yang, the Tai Chi. Good. How do we feel about this? This is a new movement for many people.
I think I need to record myself.
Yep. I will tell you that recording yourself is one of the best tools to learning, especially now because we're not in person, right? So everyone's camera is at a different angle, which could then affect like what I see from you. So I'm trying to take that into account as I look at what you're doing. But if you set up a camera at your house, like at the right level, you can then put it on the screen and then look at Yang-Jun or look at Nancy or look at anyone and kind of compare, you know, in slow-mo and like look at what you're doing. And I'll tell you, it's always crazy what you learn. When you think you're doing something and then you see yourself on the camera, it can be totally different. So maybe the challenge for this week is to record yourself, if only for 5 minutes, okay? So let's just do the arms again. So we're in fan through the back. We're going to shift our weight and we're just going to turn and circle. Nice. Good end positions. Do we feel like we got that part down now? Okay. So now we come into the chopping. So we're in this position.
I have a question, Cheryl.
Yeah, absolutely, Karen.
On my right arm, when I'm going down, I must be flexing my wrist like this because it's hurting. How is your hand and your arm when you end?
That's a great question. So when we do this, our hand is in line here, but as we turn, we're sitting it a little bit. So we're not going to sit it up like this. I guess it'd be easier to see this way, but it's going to be seated just a little bit. It's not going to be totally in line. It's going to be seated. So what happens is it creates a little lift in the arm here, surface, right? It gives the meaning of pushing down, but we don't want to show like it was a striking like this. It's just a little bit seated, but it's not flat.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. I didn't talk about that, so thank you. So one more time with the arms so we can do that part, okay? So think about it as you're doing this. You're going to push down, but we're not sitting up the wrist all the way. It's just slightly seated. Good. Oh, I love everyone's arm positions. And you know what I noticed? The shoulders are sinking down. Do you guys feel it? Because you're not doing this. I can see that for sure. Good. Okay, so the next part is we're in this, we've deflected our opponent's punch. So we're going to make a fist. Now, when we make a fist, we want to roll all of our fingers in, and the thumb goes over the first two fingers here. Now, we want to make sure that we don't have a gap, and we want to make sure that we're not having this, that we have a nice flat surface here. Okay, now we're not using that flat surface, okay? So the difference is like, see my fist this way? It's nice and flat. We don't want this, like having a pinky. So if you can do it, try to roll it in. I know, Sharon.
I can't do a flat fist. I have too much arthritis. So.
Exactly. We do what we can, right? So we just want to roll it in as much as we can. So if we have a bad finger, it's going to hang out. But if we can, we try to roll it in, okay? Sharon, you're doing the best you can. I know you're trying. You're doing it, okay? That's all we can do is do the best we can at any point in time, okay? So the reason we're bringing this up is so that we have good form. Now, when we do the chop, we're chopping with the back of the fist here. So we're hitting our opponent with this part. Now, when we do the chop, we don't want to have too much bend like this, but we don't want to have the wrist flat like this where it shows like we're hitting the knuckles. We want to find that in-between point. I'm trying to there we go. Where it's not like this, it's not here, but it shows hitting our opponent's face with the back. Yep. Feel what this feels like. This is what you want to imagine, okay? Because it's not single whip. Single whip, we're hitting here, okay? This is the back of our hand. Okay? Yep. Back of the hand. So we come from our pushing down, we make our fist. Now rotate on your elbow and you want to show chopping. Okay? Good. So we come from our seated position, we've deflected, we make a fist, and we rotate on the elbow and show chopping. Good. So everyone turn the wrist. Make sure you have an angle here. So we don't want to be too flat. We should end up at face level. So your fist should be in front of your face because we're always imagining our opponent is our size. Okay? So we want to be careful when we do this. It's not parry, block, and punch. We're not just coming out to the side. There's a definite meaning of chopping. Good. So down, chop. Good. And I'm a little low, so chop face level. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's it. And it's in line, right? So we've turned, and when we chop, we're not chopping to center. We're always chopping and it's in line. Just like if it was a palm, but it's striking. Okay, so it's in line with our shoulder. That's why you can't see my shoulder here because I'm not out to the center. I'm directly in line. Good. So now the left arm. We're up. We're warding off up. This pump's just going to come and sit down. So what happens is if you make a fist with your bottom hand, your left arm's up. We're going to chop out as we draw the hand to our shoulder. Good. So leave your fist, come back. You chop out and hand comes to the shoulder. Now everyone check your hand at your shoulder here. Are we like this or is our back still rounded here? This is important. Good. Yes. So we're here. Right arm's chopping, left arm's coming down. Then from here, it's normal, one forward, one back. So this should feel like a brush knee with the strike. So we're striking out and our fist comes and sits at our hip. Good. Okay, so from here, we're in our ward off and our deflecting arms.
Is our deflecting arm all the way across our waist like yours, or is it just like straight, like that's what it looks like that from here?
Yes, because you have to imagine this is where your opponent is striking. I'm not to the point where I've closed off my arm like this, Marion, but I'm not out here. We're imagining we're connecting with the forearm, okay? Yes, so forearm. So we want it's forearm and turn a little bit, okay? So we've made our fist, good. Chop and prepare for strike. And then strike and pull your chop back. Good. Are you guys ready to put it together? Okay, let's try it. We're gonna go slow and we'll hit some key stop points in between, okay? So I'll face the true direction, okay? So we move it the same way since everyone seems comfortable with the arms. So left leg is forward, fan through the back. So we're looking through our left palm. We're gonna shift our weight, start to shift our weight back, and then we circle our arms. We end up in that position before we make a fist and our foot is totally turned. As we shift our weight back and relax our right foot, we're gonna make a fist. As we draw in and step with the heel, we're gonna chop. Now this is where our chop and our strike is preloaded and it's just weight on our heel. And then we go into our full bow stance as we strike. So that's very important, okay? When we do this movement, you wanna make sure that when you chop, I've got weight on my heel like an empty stance, but I'm in what's gonna be a bow stance, okay? So I want you to understand that we're actually in shoulder width stance, but I'm just touching with my heel. So what happens is you've tried to chop your opponent and they've moved back. They're gone, like they've stepped back a little and you can't reach them. So that's when you come through with the strike. So we want to make sure we hit this stop point here so that we have something to bring to our strike. Okay? Yes. Let's do it again. So from fan through the back, left leg forward, move back your weight, turning your foot, circle your arms. Stop. Check here. Look down at your foot. Check your arms or your shoulders down. Now relax your foot and make a fist. Draw your foot in, step out, touch with the heel for your chop. Now are your shoulders down, back rounded? Your fist is at your face level. Now bring your weight into your bow stance and show striking. And there's something to note here. When we're doing this, we're looking at our fist direction when we're chopping, okay? So I'm not just looking straight forward, okay? I'm trying to be right in front of the camera. I'm not just looking straight forward and then staying straight forward, okay? Our intention, the energy is at our fist. So we're looking a little bit towards the direction of the chop and then we change and we look to the direction of the strike. Does that make sense? That's a little detail and we're trying to like, you know, kind of rein this in. We've made a new refinement class for all the really detailed questions, which I'm excited about. But that's something to note, you know, it's something that I had to learn maybe a year ago for these certain things is when we're doing this, I'm not just looking straight, okay? I'm looking where the energy is going, okay? All right, let's do it again with that in mind, a little bit more continuous. So from fan through the back, we're looking over our striking arm. We move back and we're gonna look towards the corner, maybe a little less than corner because our opponent is punching over here. Then we make a fist, we're looking where we're chopping, and then we're looking where we're striking. Good, one more time. Fan through the back, shift your weight, turn. Make a fist, relax the foot, chop, and strike. Relax. Questions?
When you have that chop, how much weight is on that heel edge?
About 40%, just like an empty stance.
Thank
So
you.
it should feel like your empty stance in relation to the weight, but it's a bow stance, so your shoulder width, you're not one line and two sides, okay? Let's do it again, and let's focus on that for you, okay? So I'm just gonna talk about the weight shifting, okay? So fan through the back. Shift your weight, all the weight's in the right leg so you can turn the left foot. Shift your weight, all's in the left. Step 40% with the chop, and then all the way in for the bow stance. Okay, I should say 30%. I'm sorry about that, Veronica. 30%. That's the proper, yes. That looks good. Yeah, and you have a good body angle too. That's really good. You have a great line from your head to your foot, and that will help with the weight distribution, okay? Because there's a big difference when we're doing a stance and we're here, like we're leaning and folding from our hips, letting our waist relax, versus we're here. Can you guys see the difference? So having that folding forward will allow us to put that weight into the heel of our foot so then we can transfer and keep that line from our leg through to the top of our head. Yeah, so you can just play, like this is a good move. I love this one because you can do chop and strike, and you can just kind of come back and chop and strike. This is a good one to work on timing with. because this one's very important for the meaning, that we get that little bit of weight forward for the chop, but we save it so that if they move back, they see it coming and they're like, whoa, then you still have your strike for them. Okay? Yeah. Do we have any questions on this? Do we feel comfortable enough to do it on our own? Yeah? Okay, let's do it one time. I'm going to watch. You can do it. I'm going to walk you through. So from fan through the back, nice bow stance here. Shoulders are relaxed and down. Shift your weight back, turn, covering your head, deflecting a punch. Make a fist as you relax your foot. Step out and chop, hand to the shoulder, and then strike. Wow. The end postures are beautiful. The transitions were beautiful. It looks really good. Yeah. Take a deep breath, guys. You guys are doing great. It's looking better and better every week. Okay. It's really good.
I find I'm a little, I guess you call it double weighted in the final posture because I'm trying to go wider than I have been doing. So I'm a little, I don't know, a little tippy on the right side.
You'll hone it in. This stance in particular, it's just like single whip, or you know the form, Marion. So the fair ladies, when we do those weird steps, this is one of those movements where it takes time to find out where you need to step. Once you draw your leg in and step back out, it just takes practice. So I'm a big believer in just messing around with the form and having fun with it. And so I'll be standing around in a store or, wherever I'm talking to somebody, and I'll just do a bow stance and I'll just move back and kind of turn and step, or I'll turn here and I'll step, just so that my body gets used to it. Because sometimes we focus so much on the arms, we forget that the most important aspect is our legs. We want to feel heavy. We want to feel stable, because if we don't feel stable from our lower half, then we're not going to be light on the top. So sometimes just focusing on your legs and working on the leg movements can simply improve your form. Because once you feel like you don't have to think about your legs, you can let your upper body do what it's going to do, or you can let your legs do what they're going to do, and then kind of relax the upper body, okay? So let's do it again. If your stance feels a little off, I want you to just do the legs, okay? If you want to, do the arms, but try to feel heavy, okay? So when we're in this bow stance right here, I want you to push off of both legs and feel the moving, okay? Feel the moving of your foot, your weight, the bounce, the push and support between your legs, okay? So just as you're in this bow stance, okay? Now move back, turn, deflect down, shift back, make a fist. Feel the weight in your bubbling well here before you pick up and you step out, and then show striking. Now everyone hold for a second. Where is the weight in your feet? Do you feel it in the bubbling well? That's where we want to. So you can play with this, okay? You can shift your weight back onto your heel. You can actually shift your weight onto the edges of your feet. I love that, Veronica. That was great in the message. So it's something that takes a long time. And even after 16 years of practice, I am still working on this, okay? Because when we transition, we have to shift our weight back. But when we shift our weight back, where is the weight? You should feel it in the bubbling well. We don't want to feel like we're on the edge of our outside edge or the inside edge with our knee turned in. We want to feel it on the bubbling well. And then we turn on our heel, right? But then when we shift our weight back again, we want it in the bubbling well before we pick up and step out into our bow stance and come all the way, both bubbling wells here.
Most of the time when I make that pivot on my left foot to go into the strike, my foot is wobbling. And I don't feel steady at all. And I'm just trying to control myself and then put my foot out and I kind of stomp a little bit, you know, because I'm not in enough.
I got something for you guys, something from my physical therapy that I'm working on for my knee. Okay? Grab a blanket, or if you're lucky and you have kids, Kelly maybe still has some with the mats, any sort of rubber mat, foam mat, or a blanket rolled up. Stand on the blanket. Literally stand on the blanket and see if you can move your weight. Feel where the weight is. Then if you're feeling bold, try to pick up one foot on that blanket and touch it out. And maybe to the side and back. Kelly does these in her classes, going front and then back. And it's a challenge on solid ground. If you really want to step up that challenge, do it on a blanket or a foam mat. Now be careful, have something to hold on to if you need to, a chair, a sofa, something, okay? But what it does is it makes you use all the little micro muscles and strengthens your legs in new ways, okay? So it will help with the stability for the form. It's changed my form just from learning these new exercises to do in physical therapy, okay? So try it out. There's all these different things that we can do, you know, that aren't necessarily Tai Chi, but will improve our Tai Chi. You know, the slow moving. And here's something, guys. We do the form for 25 minutes, maybe sometimes 22. They used to do it for 45 minutes. 45 minutes for one form. Now, what does that allow us to do? Work on all these things at a different level, okay? So let's do it again, and let's do it a lot slower this time. So everyone take it down a notch, okay? See what you can feel when we move slower. So make sure we have a nice stance, stepping out, feel the weight in your bubbling well, waist is relaxed, shoulders are down. Now nice and slowly move back your weight, slowly turning your arms. We're just getting to the corner with our foot. We're gonna slowly relax, making a fist, and slowly pick up, touch with the heel for the chop, and slowly strike out. What did you notice was different when you did it that slow?
Weight.
The weight. It gives you more time to adjust where the weight is in your foot. And this will also help when we get into the kicking section, because when you go to stand up and kick, there's a big difference of moving fast or taking that time very slowly, finding our ball of our foot and our balance, and then slowly standing up. Okay? So maybe when you practice this week, your goal is to slow it down, feel the weight moving so that you can gain that solid base. Okay? So let's see. Okay, we're 45 minutes, give or take 5. So let's practice the whole thing again from cross hands through to turn body and chop with fist. Okay, cross hands. Embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. Moving slowly, stepping out, open, strike, roll back. I'm keeping it slow for a reason. We're gonna turn, circle in, touch, and press. Open up, slowly shift back. Feel that weight transition, especially as we push out. Fist under elbow, flattening the arms, using our waist to help turn our foot to the straight direction, shifting back, pushing out, step, ward off, right foot steps, making a fist, touching on the heel. Repulse monkey, circling back, hand in front of the shoulder, pushing off on the right heel. Number 2, nice rotation of the right arm. Touch, 1 forward, 1 back. Number 3, keeping those shoulders down. Backs rounded as we pull our left arm to our hip. Diagonal flying, circle. Nice and slow, step, open, splitting energy. Raise hands, shifting forward, step back, open up the arms, relax the foot, change to the heel, close the arms. White crane, shifting your weight to the left, circle, step as you close the arms, shift the weight, pick up, touch with the toes. Brush knee, circle, weight shifting back so you can pick up, bow stance, strike. Needle at sea bottom, shifting forward, fingertips point down, pulling back, come up on the heel, change to the toe, sink down. Lifting up, touching the wrist, pick up, bow stance, 1 arm forward, 1 back. Turn body, shifting your weight, circle your arms, deflecting the punch, make a fist as you relax, pick up, touch with the heel, chop, and strike. Okay. Nice work today. We made it through the whole movement. That's a hard one. Did you guys feel a difference when we moved slower for that practice? Okay, good. Good. That's what we're going to work on then. So this week, work on turn body, chop with fist, play around with your footwork while you're in Costco or wherever, you know, in your kitchen, like, you know, we're not really going anywhere. So, but play around with your footwork, okay? Work on those rotations and try to think when you're turning your foot, it's not just turning your foot, okay? I'm not just taking my foot and just turning my foot, okay? Your whole leg has to turn, okay? So maybe that will help you this week. But work on the transitions, try to slow it down, okay? So next week, we have some repeat movement with parry, block, and punch, and then grasping the bird's tail. So I think since we have some new people, we're gonna spend some time on refinement of those movements next week, okay? And then, because after that, we're getting into the kicking section after we do wave hands like clouds, okay? So everyone practice this week. I'd love to hear your results with a slower class afterwards, okay? Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Kelly.
I didn't realize my video was off, so.